Hey everybody, how's it going? Today, let's take a look at this 2015 Mercedes-Benz AMG GTS Edition 1. And this is going to be a full, in-depth tour of the AMG GTS. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust shot, and show you a bunch of the features on the interior, as well as exterior.
And before I begin, I'd like to give a massive shout out to the Junction Autopark, located in Llandudno Junction, North Wales, for allowing me to come out and film this car. For more information regarding current inventory and contact info, please check out the link in the description below.
And so, without further ado, let's get it started up and let it run. This vehicle does come equipped with keyless entry. It's unlocked in the moment. To lock, all you have to do is tap the indentations on each of the door handles. Then after waiting a second, to unlock, just touch the back of the handle. It's a dark grey metallic exterior with two-tone black and red leather and black Alcantara interior. Has just under 21,000 miles on the clock. Fires right up. Alcantara steering wheel with side grip extensions, silver accenting and flat bottom design. Has a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission with manual shift, and when you select reverse, brings up your backup camera with guidance lines. And we'll go ahead and turn on the automatic headlamps, fog lamps and the hazards. Both the windows are automatic, and we'll go and check out the exterior, shall we? "19-inch wheels at the front, finished in black. LED headlamps. You also have front and rear parking sensors. carbon fibre roof. "20" wheels at the back. Has a 4-litre twin turbocharged V8 engine, puts out around 500 brake horsepower, does 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, and has a top speed of 193 miles an hour. Power locks, power windows, power mirrors, Burmeister audio system, fully powered sports seats with 3-person memory and side airbags. And we'll go ahead and here she sounds. Does sound amazing. Let's go ahead and activate the sports exhaust. Absolutely awesome. Dual zone automatic climate control. Fan speed. Individual temperatures for both sides. Different zones. Max front defrost, rear defrost, one touch automatic, sync, recycling, AC on and off, and other options. Different stations. Decent sounding audio system.
Intends to keep the pressure up, even though now the concentration of the military operations is in and around Donbass, this area around the Sea of Azov,
Info.
where the cities of Mariupol, Melitopol and others that we've been reading a lot about, seeing in real terms of the destruction.
Sound settings.
Are focused. And I think that the intent at this particular point is to secure Russia's hold of the whole area extending from the top of the Crimean Peninsula all the way along to the Donbass, even if that means laying it waste and literally reducing most of these major cities to rubble.
You mentioned the Crimean Peninsula there. We saw the annexation by Russia of Crimea in the south of Ukraine back in 2014.
FM/AM, DAB digital radio,
Russia for so many years. Does this
and options.
invasion surprise you, especially considering the close culture
Traffic announcements.
both Ukraine and Russia share?
It doesn't actually surprise me, because actually if you look back to the early
Media. Phone.
collapse of the Soviet Union by various
Navigation.
in Moscow, who wanted to see the restoration of the Soviet Union, who didn't like the idea that Russians and Russian speakers were now outside of the Russian Federation's orbit, and clearly over
Destination.
the time of these multiple decades there have been various points in which it's been clear that Ukraine's whole
Traffic info.
under some question mark. Cut off of energy in the 2000s to Ukraine as well, trying to put leverage and pressure on the Ukrainian government, making sure that they didn't have freedom of manoeuvre and freedom of choice. Now the extent of the invasion, as you're suggesting here, its brutality, I think
And vehicle settings.
surprising, but only to a point. We've seen this kind of brutality before in Chechnya, in the Russian North Caucasus, during the kind of civil conflict that was there in the 1990s. We've seen the brutality in Aleppo, in Syria, that the Russian government participated in on the side of Bashar al-Assad to keep him in power. But of course at the beginning,
Different driving modes.
the point was supposed to be that Ukrainians and Russians were one and the
Comfort.
same people. And
Sport.
this was an exercise
Sport
in
Plus.
putting Ukrainians back into the Russian fold.
And race mode.
Very clear that if Ukrainians are one and the same people as Russians, they're thought of as traitors.
And individual.
And they're now being dealt with in the most severe terms possible.
Fully customisable.
This is now an exercise in punishment, and the levels of brutality, I think, are surprising also for Ukrainians themselves, given all of this rhetoric that had come out of Moscow.
I do want to talk about the brutality, especially in the besieged city of Mariupol, but on the subject of...
It's pretty much your standard Mercedes-Benz infotainment system,
Russia,
so it's pretty simple to use.
when it comes to the time this invasion is taking, the time it is taken to take Ukraine. We had the sinking of the Russian warship last week, the Moskva, and Russia says that it was a fire on board that caused that explosion. Ukraine says it was hit with missiles. But what we do know is that this is the biggest loss of a Russian warship since World War II. We now have mothers in Russia breaking their silence, demanding to
Power
know
outlet.
what has happened to their sons who were on board that ship. How does this sinking change the dynamics of war?
Well, it does complicate things for Vladimir Putin, as you're suggesting there. Now the resurgence of the soldiers' mothers.
Down here you have your ESP, or Electronic Stability Program, suspension settings, activation of your sports exhaust, auto stop start, and manual mode.
Family sentiment forever. I mean, it's been engaged in wars, and in the case of the Soviet Union during the Afghan War, at the end of that conflict, when so many people were lost, the
USB inputs,
stirrings of a civil society movement in Russia,
emergency slot for the key if the keyless go fails.
that was also became very well organised in the 1990s to push back against hazing and brutality in the ranks for conscripts. It was a phenomenon that was extraordinarily problematic in the Russian military, and always
Auto dimming rear view mirror,
a lack of discipline and
SOS emergency roadside assistance, tow mode, and deactivation of your interior alarm.
against conscripts. The conscripts themselves started meeting that out against civilians in other conflicts. And during the war in Chechnya that I referenced before, again, heavy losses of conscripts. The soldiers and other
Up here you have your parking sensors
Now, on the eve of
and your heated seats.
Putin and the Kremlin tried to suppress the ongoing Soldiers Brothers organisation, as well as Memorial, which is an organisation that was set up to look into the crimes of Stalin and all of the terrible events that took place under the Soviet period, the repression and purges.
Audio controls,
And it looked
hands-free
like
phone controls,
hearing
and cruise control.
for the kinds of things that we sort of see today, but exactly as you're pointing out, when you have something of that kind of a scale, where you have a lot of losses all at once, they're concentrated either in one section, one branch of the military, or they're concentrated in terms of a geographic place. There's, for example, an airborne division from town Kostroma in Russia, which is actually linked with my home area of County Durham. They've had huge losses from that airborne division in the early parts of the invasion into Ukraine. That has a backlash, because you've got a lot of people all at once who've suffered a loss. They're very well aware of it, and they start to push.
Absolutely amazing vehicle. Let's go ahead and shut her down. Let's go and check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? Same 3-person memory for the passenger seat. Well viewers, thanks so much for watching this in-depth tour of this 2015 Mercedes-Benz AMG GTS, and a big thanks to Junction Autopark for allowing me to come and film it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and peace out.